not laws, because they are, of course, the biggest builder and operator of these power plants. It's about shutting down their competition. And I will bring you back to 2005. We saw all this coming and wrote about it. Their complete plan. The Myth of Peak Oil, Paul Joseph Watson's, Alex Jones, October 12, 2005, prisonplanet.com, Infowars.com. And we talked about how carbon taxes are meant to selectively shut down power plant companies, coal companies that aren't insiders, how China is building multiple power plants a week at the time. Now it's upwards of 5 a week, but we're not allowed to have even 3 new ones a year. How then they have cheaper power, so they can produce cheaper goods on top of their slave wages. More regulations get piled on here. Then they lie and say our power plants are dirty when they're amongst the cleanest in the world. They put them through these, quote, scrubbers that take everything out but carbon dioxide and water. That's why Obama is saying carbon dioxide is poisonous and wants to tax it. This is huge. This is siege. This is deindustrialization. This is the post-industrial world. But in this report we wrote, we linked through to the Associated Press and Raw Story, who got the documents, and they're up on our website. Group, internal memos show oil companies limited refineries to drive up prices. Donald Trump was right earlier this week on Newsmax saying we're awash in oil. There's tankers lined up worldwide wanting to offload it. There's not enough refineries. There's not enough infrastructure. This has been done by design. We know in 1995, 16 years ago, and in 1996, 15 years ago, and it was all covered by the AP, and then we pointed it out in 2005. They sued and got the documents. They said, we got too much oil. We got to lobby the environmentalists to shut down smaller companies. We've got to go buy up other refineries and shut them off to create a bottleneck. And the same mega big oil, mega big energy is going after all the smaller oil and coal companies and smaller power plants. The feds came into Austin with money a decade ago or 9 years ago and bought up the city-owned power plant that could supply most of the city by itself and just shut it off. They're shutting them down, the old plants. They're blocking new plants that have been built, bankrupting companies. Then later GE comes in and buys them for pennies on the dollar, and then they get the waiver to turn them on. And so there you have it. It's the same thing. What do you think's happening with Mexico right now? They're the only ones on the Texas region to be able to build all these new plants that don't have the regulations on them, and then now they are supplying Texas. That's in the AFP and Associated Press today. Let me run through some of these headlines. Mammoth storms leave bitter cold destruction. Blackouts anger Dallas hospitals. Why aren't they getting power? Why aren't police stations getting power? But the big Superdome they've built for the Dallas Cowboys, where they're going to have the Super Bowl with the Steelers up there. Why was Cowboy Stadium exempt from blackouts? CBS News. EPA to take over Texas air permitting for major refineries and power plants. Obama EPA blocks South Dakota coal power plant. Governor Sebelius banned new coal power plants in Kansas. Georgia judge blocks coal plant on global warming grounds. They're shutting down existing ones, buying up existing ones, and shutting them off to create artificial scarcity to drive up the price of per kilowatt hour power that can then only be owned by selective insider globalist companies. This is mafia government. This is so criminal, it makes my head spin to have this type of garbage going. And then I have the headline that Mexico is now supplying the energy to much of Texas because we're supplying it to other states. They're shutting down our industry. They're shutting down everything. Mexico supplies electricity to Winnery, Texas. Mexico State Electricity Company on Wednesday started supplying electricity to the United States and to Texas, where demand shot up amid unusually cold temperatures and caused power outages. Mexico's Federal Electricity Commission was determined to support Texas with electrical energy faced with problems that the state is suffering due to climatological conditions, a statement said. Okay, now, there's the real scoop. There's what's going on. What do we do about this? Guys, I meant to tell you earlier, will you pull me up the Congress switchboard number and also Rick Perry's number? We also need to pressure the Attorney General of Texas, who has been countersuing the feds, I got to say valiantly, and say it's time for injunctions. It's time to put the state guard in front of these power plants and not let the feds cut down output as they've been doing. It's time to say no, 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 and call them and put pressure on them. We got forced inoculation suspended in Texas, and they admitted it was the 5,000 phone calls this show generated. We got the funding for the race war film Machete pulled, so they didn't get state incentives. Our listeners did. We can get things moving on this, and you can get things moving, but I want a key search term today. I want to do it, and I want it to be the #1 search term on Google today. This is so absolutely important. And I printed the article, and I had it right here in front of me. But I've been so busy ranting that I can't find it. Here it is. Here it is. This is the prisonplanet.com headline version. Because Google tries to block us a lot. We'll give key articles, one headline on InfoWars, another on prisonplanet.com. Obama agenda to bankrupt power plants triggers blackouts. And we have the video of him saying it. We have it all on record, their whole plan, the insider deals to shut down their competition. This is such an important, condensed piece of information. Obama agenda to bankrupt power plants triggers blackouts. Let's go with the search term, Obama triggers blackouts. Obama triggers blackouts. Obama triggers blackouts, and that will lead people, even though they block us out, you can post it on your website or blog and get all the traffic. I don't care. Take our articles. Take them, take them, take them. I just want to defeat these tyrants. Obama agenda to bankrupt power plants triggers blackouts. Key article, put it into Google search engine over and over again, the 3 words, Obama triggers blackouts. That's the Infowars.com headline on that. The prisonplanet.com headline on this key article that Paul Watson and I put together, Obama's blocking of new power plants triggers nationwide blackouts. Okay? And that's the second search term. Obama triggers blackouts. Obama triggers blackouts is the #1 search term. And then we need to do a secondary search term. And let's do the search term Obama's nationwide blackouts. So the first search term is Obama triggers blackouts. The second search term is Obama's nationwide blackouts. Obama's nationwide blackouts. Put that in Google over and over again. Hit enter, 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 enter. Let's just send it to #1. Obama triggers blackouts, the first search term, and Obama triggers blackouts is the second term. And we come back, I'm going to read part of this article by Paul Joseph Watson. But yes, I'm upset. Yes, I'm angry. I mean, my country that I love is being shut down, and they admit they're doing it by design. And we come back, we'll play that 13-second clip again of Obama saying, hey, you can build a power plant, but we're going to put taxes on it so high that you're going to go bankrupt. And he's saying, you're going to go bankrupt. Your factory, your school, your business, your house, you're going to pay more for power. They put in carbon taxes last year in Austin. They say $3.4 billion over the next 3 years. They just said Austin's putting added taxes on your power and gas as part of carbon taxes. Where I live, they're doing this. They're raping us. They're engaging in... Is it really... Look, they just repealed one of the more draconian provisions in the health care bill that in the aggregate, if you sell $600 worth of products, be it Beanie Babies or knives, it doesn't matter, on your website or in your business, you got to file a tax form on it. That has now been voted down in the Senate. We're going to repeal the whole thing. And they don't even have a law. They got one court saying Obama can run around outside of law and shut down power plants and put taxes on everybody. The power to tax, the power to destroy. We're going to repeal that. But folks, you need to call Congress and say, we know that the shutting down of power plants from Georgia to South Dakota to Texas to Florida, California, you name it, not letting them build existing plants. The feds coming in and buying up city-owned plants and shutting them down like in Austin, the Holly Street power plant. We know what you're doing. And that GE's being given waivers, just like Obama insiders are being given waivers from the health care bill. It's pure discrimination. It's mafia government where only the insiders can operate. Now we got to get our power from Mexico. They built a $3+ billion power plant in Corpus Christi, and I got the Houston Chronicle calling for it to never be allowed to be opened. And they're lying and saying these things are toxic when all that comes out of them is carbon dioxide, and that's why they're trying to say that's toxic so they can shut them down, while China has no restrictions on them.